Alright, while you're in class today, you need to work on finishing your lab, and the first thing you need to do is answer your post-lab questions if you haven't done those yet. Remember, you need to either write the question and answer it, or write complete sentences that include the question. After your post-lab questions, you're going to write a conclusion. And a conclusion is a paragraph or two, depending on how much you need to write, and it includes these specific things. It restates the purpose of the lab, and gives a brief summary of your procedure. You don't have to write out the procedure word for word. It doesn't have to be long. Just kind of summarize what you did at each of your stations. And then you're going to talk about your results. If you have calculations, what did you find? If you have descriptions of things or observations, what did you see? And do you think your results were good or bad? How did they go? Was there some sort of error? What does that look at? And then you're going to talk specifically about sources of error. And for those sources of error, you don't want to use human error as experimental error. It's not what mistakes were made. Experimental error has to do with the lab equipment you're using and the procedure you're given. It's things that can't be helped and will be the same for everyone. This is more relevant when we start getting into taking measurements, using different pieces of lab equipment. There wasn't a whole lot of experimental error with what you did because of the methods you were using, but I still want you to think about what things could, just in the nature of the experiment, cause your results to not be as accurate as possible. So when you're writing your conclusion, you need to use third-person passive voice. So instead of saying, I did something, or we did something, or the students did something, you want to use third-person passive voice. So for example, 200 milliliters of distilled water was poured into a 500 milliliter beaker. Don't make it a direction. It's not a command. And don't talk about what you did. Don't say I poured, or we poured, or the students poured. Talk about what happened in the past. All right, once you're done with your post-lab questions and your conclusion, you're going to tear out your yellow copy pages using those perforations on the edge. I don't want to see the little spiral-bound parts of the paper, so use the perforations. Please staple it, turn it in, make sure your name is on the front of it, and then I will be able to grade it from there.